last week the NBA announced major changes to the NBA All-Star Game. So it's now going to be a 4-team tournament-style format. There'll be 2 semifinal games played up to 40 points, with the winners advancing to the final matchup up to 25 points. I know, Stephen A., you weren't happy about these changes, and you let your feelings be known yesterday. I want to play that sound for everyone.
Please. I hate it. It's a complete waste of time. I abhor it. I think it's an insult and it's a disgrace to pioneers who have helped elevate the NBA product to what it is. I think it's a blemish on NBA players. I personally have no interest in even being there, and I never speak against the NBA this way. I'm not where I am in my life if it were not for the NBA.
Okay. Stephen A., I know you've heard from some of your contacts around the league. What do you want to respond to specifically?
Well, players, agents called yesterday after watching First Take to remind me of the inordinate amount of corporate partners, Doggy, that the NBA has, and how they feel like, the NBA players, particularly the agents, were articulating this message that the NBA players, or the NBA office, rather, the league, was catering to their corporate sponsors at the expense of the players. That, contractually we got to show up, but I'll be damned if we got to sit up there and play our butts off like, we're playing during a regular season or in a high competitive style matchup, because they feel like the league has catered to the corporate partners and appeasing them without giving players a piece of that pie. That's one of the reasons, it's not mandated that players participate in the slam dunk contest, for example. That's why you see a lot of them shunning that and what have you, because they point that out. My attitude, Doggy, is I don't give a damn. I don't want to hear that. First of all, when you consider the money that you're getting paid salary-wise, it's exorbitant. When you consider the games missed during the regular season due to load management or anything else, but the check still comes in guaranteed and on time, I don't want to hear that. But this is the biggest reason I feel this way. There is nothing wrong with somebody asking you to play as hard as you play when you're working out in the summer. That's the point. I didn't say the regular season. I didn't say the playoffs. I didn't say anything like that. I said when you're working out in the summer, playing amongst each other, you playing significantly harder than you play at All-Star Weekend. You got paying customers showing up there. Yes, corporate sponsors, all right, which helps the league get an 11-year, $77 billion contract that you're going to get a 50% piece of, okay? So let's take that into consideration. It's also a situation where you're looking at the league itself. You're looking at these players, and you got these stars showing up as well, and they're showing up to just watch a layup line, or you take wide open shots, give no resistance defensively whatsoever. That's a bit ridiculous, and that's what I'm saying. You can point to the corporate sponsors, and they may have an argument there. Maybe they should get a piece of the pie, All-Star Weekend in some capacity if there's additional dollars that are generated from corporate partners to your product. I understand all of that. Fine. But in the end, there is nothing on the planet that you can say if you're a player to justify you playing harder in the summertime, in your off time, amongst your peers than you do on All-Star Weekend. There is absolutely no excuse for that. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I heard their explanation. I wanted to put it out there to be fair, but in fairness, right back to them, I respectfully disagree with that being an excuse to look as disinterested and as apathetic and indifferent as you look on that Sunday afternoon of All-Star Weekend. There is no excuse for that.
The guy who formed the union, who sued for free agency, is Oscar Robertson. Last year, the game was in Indianapolis. How do you think Oscar felt sitting courtside watching that garbage at 7 o'clock at night on TNT when nobody played defense and he almost scored 200 points? Steve?
Embarrassed.
How do you think that's in front of Oscar Robertson, who played in every All-Star game like it was a Game 7? If I was a player and I saw Oscar sitting there distinguished with the gray hair at courtside, I said, geez, I got Oscar watching me tonight. I got to give an effort here. And then instead, we get, as you said perfectly, a layup line.
Can I play devil's advocate, though? Stephen A., what if they go out there and they go hard and there's a major injury to a superstar and it changes the balance of power and the playoffs and
Well,
all
first
that?
of all, that's a risk, and that's fair. But secondly, your money's guaranteed. You ain't losing no money. So let's get that out the way. And most importantly, Molly, I specifically said nobody's asking you to play as hard as you do in the regular season or the playoffs or anything. I'm talking about summertime. In the summertime, when you're working out, you play harder than that. You don't go full throttle. You don't go 100%. But you do play a little bit harder than that because you're working on your game and you're trying to improve and elevate your level of play by showcasing whatever you got on display and putting it into practice so you'll know what works and what doesn't work come regular season time. The same could be applicable to to the All-Star game itself. You can go out there. We have seen them in the past compete against one another. We've seen it happen without going 100%, but at least it's a respectable product that you give to the paying customer who is sitting in attendance watching you, along with the millions that are watching on television. You're not spitting in their face and telling them it's raining and just accept it. That's what I'm talking about here. And that has to be, and this is the last point, Doggy, to point to you. One of the great moments that existed, not Molly, in recent memory. LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers are up 2-1 on the Golden State Warriors in the finals when he had Matthew Dellavedova and Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt and all of this other stuff. One of the great moments was before the game, LeBron spotted, as he walked to midcourt, he saw the late, great Jim Brown, God rest his soul. And he turned to him and he bowed, paid homage to the greatness of Jim Brown. Everybody saw that and everybody mentioned it, okay? That's what makes Doggy's point about Oscar Robertson more palpable. Oscar Robertson is one of the greatest players in NBA history. He's an all-time Hall of Famer, a great player, one of the greatest ever. He was also an activist who fought on behalf of the players to be in the position that they are in. And it cost him a lot because a lot of people believe that for years he was ostracized from the NBA because of fighting for free agency and because of taking up the battles that he took up to look out for the future generation of players. So when you did all of that and you have to go through what he had to go through, what the Bill Russells had to go through, along with a bevy of other players that paved the way for these guys to show up on All-Star Weekend, the best of the best, showing little to no effort whatsoever, it is insulting to the game. And the NBA validates that with all of these damn changes they keep making to try to make the game interesting. It's got to the point where I wouldn't blame people, at least for 1 year, just protesting the damn weekend until these players and the league get their act together. And I'm not going to say the players more so than the league because I know the league is trying. But somebody's got to do something because the product that they're putting out there on Sunday for All-Star Weekend, don't get me started with the slam dunk contest because that's eroded too. But the product that they're putting out there, it's embarrassing. It really, really is. I have no interest. I love the NBA. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the NBA. And I have no interest in being at All-Star Weekend. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
I'm on fire. The CDA on the list.